Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talks a Lot Boys. I am your host. My name is Tyler, and I am, of course, joined by the boys. We've got Brennan.
What's going on, folks?
And we've got Kyle.
How's it going, guys?
So, this is going to be a bit of a different experience. We just finished recording Bill Murray album review. Super fun. Love that album. Now we're here talking about Wage War's new album, Manic. As you can see, I am a Wage War fan. I have a shirt, so you know that I'm legit. I'm going to preface this entire thing by saying that I love Wage War. I do not love this album. I only like certain parts of this album. And I know that's going to piss a lot of people off because the world at large thinks this album is amazing. It's not. If you're like really just like in the heaviness for the sake of it being heavy and you want like no depth or like anything past that, then this is the album for you. It's amazing. If you're looking for like uniqueness, if you're looking for like stuff that doesn't just sound like the same song 8 times in a row, if you're looking for like, I don't know, the peak of Wage War's career, this is not it. This is far from that.
Man, let them breathe, dude. The Wage War stands haven't they've been holding their breath.
I know. But that's the thing sadness. Is like I'm not, because I like Wage War a lot, and I wanted this album to be good. I just wanted it so bad, and like the first 2 singles, I didn't love it. I knew everyone else did, not us, but like the world was like, this is great, and I was like, I don't really see it. And then like Teeth came out, and I was like, oh, this is like actually good. Like this album might be like a really positive thing after all. And then like it was for like 3 songs, and then like it kept disappointing me over and over and over and over again to an exhausting amount. And it's like, I don't know, to give this album its like credit, the breakdowns in this album are some of the best I've ever heard. I mean, if there's one thing this album does correctly, it's do some fucking brutal, sick, nasty breakdowns. Like, holy shit, that shit was awesome. It's just a fucking shame that, like, to get to those moments, you have to wade through just a sea of mediocrity. And, like, I hate to be that harsh, but it's just, I am nothing if not honest. I'm not gonna, like, sugarcoat this just because I like the band. I have to be honest about my thoughts on this album, or my words mean nothing in any regard for anything. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be tearing into this album a lot because I think that the negatives just outweighed the positives, and it disappoints me because I really wanted to like this album. I know I'm not the only one here because I know we've talked about this together already outside of this recording, but Brennan, I want to start with you because you are the original Wage War fan of the 3 of us. So you've had the most time with them. So tell me why you're disappointed in this album.
I guess because, like, Wage War, like the first 2 albums, okay, you're talking Blueprints, you're talking Deadweight.
Yep.
This band was absolutely expert at hitting you with something from like an unexpected direction. Like I think of like The River, I think of Alive, like those 2 tracks and Blueprints, like it seemed like a new thing was coming, and especially The River, because Alive is more of like the payoff at the end, but still, like even then, like the whole song is like building up to something, but you don't quite know what it is.
Yeah.
But like The River, like they would hit you with like a different breakdown, or they would hit you like that drum part where like, you know, you kind of hear the guitar in the background, like building up, like it's soft. Like they just threw like so many different things at you that, you know, like I said, they were all unexpected. And then from Deadweight, you know, you had Stitch, you had Indestructible, like even Johnny Cash, like there were songs that they had that like you could tell that like, you know, they took their time to like really like flesh it out and like craft it.
Definitely.
And then Pressure happened, and Pressure was like this weird cookie cutter, like soft, like predictable, and like, you know, kind of neutered album. Like, there were a lot of chances that they had to like do something like, you know, different or do something to like, you know, spice up a track a little bit. And you could tell they just went the easy route. And this album is like, it's like that, but like a little bit more, like a little bit more going on. Like the album starts off very strong. Then you hit the singles. Then it has 2 tracks that are like good, but not bad. And then the last 4 songs, like the fucking bottom just falls out. And it's just like,
they really just, it feels like they just ran out of material.
I mean, it's like you guys used to be so good at like giving me something that I wasn't expecting, and now everything's like cookie cutter almost.
Yeah,
and that doesn't even like, we haven't even said that like every song that's around 3 minutes has a 2-minute breakdown. Like at exactly 2 minutes, there's a breakdown.
It's cookie cutter to the point that the breakdowns, while amazing, show up at the exact same timestamps on almost every song.
Yes.
I'm so glad I'm not the only one to make a note about that.
If that's impressive or bad. Like, it's, I don't know. That's just another neat thing to pick apart from this.
Yes.
Kyle, I know you have a lot of not nice things to say, and that's why I wanted to save you for last.
That's fair.
Because I know you texted me and you were just like, I hated this, and I was like, okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't enjoy a lot of it. But why'd you hate it?
I hated moments of it, is what I should say, because I think that. So let me start with saying I'm not a big Wage War guy. You know, like the both of you are. I don't own a shirt. You know, I don't own a shirt. And I've listened to like a smattering of songs, specifically from Deadweight and Blueprints. I enjoy them. I have always enjoyed that it feels like a lot of times on this channel, we look at a lot of bands that really just kind of like fucking are changing the game with music. They're really like trying to push the needle, you know, like really be like, oh, but what if like we put like a twang machine in the song, you know, like stuff like that, you know, like shout out Bill Murray, and I feel like from what I hear of like especially the older stuff from Wage War, is it feels like they're pushing the needle a little bit with like this heavier music, you know, and that's cool. It gets me excited. And then when I hear something like Manic, that dies. It just dies. I can't say that the album was bad, because there are a lot of like especially instrumental bits that really do keep me in this album like all the way through. Like, as much as it might be cookie cutter, it might kind of feel samey. It really does. I think some of the instrumentals in this are very impressive. Like, there's a reason why people love Wage War. There's a reason why people are like shouting this album from the rooftops. It's because there are good moments. Mm-hmm. And now that I've said it at the front, I can tear into it. Because I do feel like it just... While I tried to go at this a very objective way, because I don't have a lot of history with Wage War, you know, I took good notes and I took bad notes, and we're in for a ride here. That's what I'm gonna say. Cause I don't know. This wasn't it.
I think this is the first time that we've like reviewed a new album that like just disappointed all of us.
Yeah,
I think normally we sort of like, I don't even think there's been a scenario before where we've like planned on reviewing an album that like we wanted to be good and then it just wasn't. This is the first time it's happened, and now you know that we're not fucking buttering up like DGD and shit just for the sake of doing it. It's like we just genuinely like that stuff. Like if we don't like an album, we're just gonna be honest and say that we don't like it. We have to actually get into the song ranking, since that is the actual point of the video. It's probably the longest we've ever ranted about like the album before we've actually gone into it. But
right,
yeah, we actually have to tear into this now and analyze this. We're gonna try to rank all the songs from worst to first. I feel like it's going to be an instance of it's more difficult to figure out the worst one than the best one, but we'll see. So I'm just going to list off all the songs in the order they appear, and then we're going to rank them as best we can. So first song is Relapse, second song is Teeth, third song is Manic, Fourth song is High Horse. Fifth song is Circle the Drain. Sixth song is Godspeed. Seventh song is Death Roll. Eighth song is Slow Burn. Ninth song is Never Say Goodbye. 10th song is True Colors. 11th song is If Tomorrow Never Comes. I don't know where to start. My gut is telling me that, like, the last two songs are probably the worst two.
That's so funny because when I was scrolling Twitter just now, the last two songs of this album are the two that people are highlighting all over the place.
Oh my god. We are gonna get
so
destroyed.
much hate.
If anybody actually watches this, we are gonna get fucking death threats and a hate mail.
We might.
People are not gonna like us.
Hey, okay, hey. Before
should I would say, should we not like
do this episode? Yeah, we
just end the episode right now.
Like it's just not even like.
Let me just say something. All right.
But then bad press is good press.
This is just the three of our opinion. Obviously, it's not the popular opinion. But we like to talk about our feelings about music on this show. If you love this album, I am really happy for you. I'm really glad that you find like a connection with this. In fact, I think one of the biggest redeeming qualities of this album to me is if I heard any of these songs live, I feel like it'd be pretty lit because you could just kind of get fucking lost in a mosh pit.
Yeah,
just have a good time. Because like we were kind of shitting on the fact that like it's just heavy all the time. I love it, but like live, that's gonna be fucking lit. And concerts coming back,
live, that
it's
would be
gonna
super
be
fun. I'm not. Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
They could literally make the fucking set list of their live show just the track list of this album, and I'd probably have a great fucking time. Like honestly,
because like
and
breakdowns at shows are fun. Like
and the breakdowns in this and the instrumentals I think are very good. They're very good in this album.
Yeah.
So I there are definitely redeeming qualities to it. I know we're probably gonna exaggerate and tear into it a lot, and especially when we technically break it down. But I just want to say this is just our opinion. If you have a different opinion, please let us know in the comments. We love to hear what you guys think.
I love that we just feel the need to constantly be like
apologizing
for our opinion on this album.
Yeah, because I mean, it seems like everyone loves it, and I'm like, this is weird. It
really does.
We don't agree, but that's just how we feel. So let's talk about why we don't agree. So do you think the last two songs of the album should be the bottom two?
I think so. Because you know how I was saying, like, I think there was a song that I thought like the riff was the same as like an earlier song. It was True Colors. Okay. Was the one, because I'm going back and looking at my notes. Here are the first two. Here are the first three sentences of my notes for this song. Can't hear the vocals at all over the drums. I feel like I've already heard this song. It sounds so similar to other stuff from this album. I swear the chorus is exactly the same as something else I've already heard. That is the opening of my notes to this song. And it's not a good thing, so I feel like we should start with this if we're talking about songs that do stuff wrong. But then, the redeeming quality of this song, though, the breakdown that goes into a second nastier breakdown,
yes,
that shit is god tier.
It is so good.
That makes me think maybe we shouldn't start with this.
Yeah, I don't. I'm leaning away from this being the first where we start personally.
Like, it's a good song. It just feels... This song just kind of, like, is the epitome of, like, the problem I have with this album. Where, like, it does the breakdown so well. And I love it so much. But everything surrounding it is just so boring. And so samey. Like, it's just... They're spoon-feeding me the same shit they've been spoon-feeding me for 3 songs in a row. But then they hit me with, like, the nastiest breakdown ever. And I love it. So then it kind of, like, makes me think, well, do I not hate this song now because they gave me this one really, really, really good element in a song that they've already given me before? Like, it takes away from the laziness, sure, but like the fact that the rest of the song, except for one part, is like pissing me off. I don't know. The breakdown does save it to a degree, definitely though, because that is, I would say it's the best breakdown on the album.
Maybe
it's close.
It's up there, top, like high tier as far as this album goes. I will say, to me, something I took some time making note of was kind of like the order the songs come on in the album, and I do kind of like what this song does for like the journey of this album. Where like before this, you have a little bit more of a stripped down song and Never Say Goodbye, and also another song where there's like some kind of more like exposed bits in If Tomorrow Never Comes, with like the piano coming in, and the more exposed moments of that song.
Yeah.
So the fact that this song kind of like amps it up is like one last hurrah before the end of this album. I do kind of like what this song does for the experience of this album. That's one of my biggest notes for it. I also think that breakdown wise, super fucking good. I would say the last minute of this song, incredible. I really enjoyed it. A lot of the instrumentals and like the fucking soaring vocals at the end, like some of them are like some of my preferred best vocals on this album, if I'm being honest with you. I like the song. It's not, I will agree that I think I share your sentiment in the fact that it does just feel like a song I've heard before, but they don't do it badly.
No, that's the thing. Like it's not bad. For the majority of the songs on this album, I don't think any of them are bad. It's just they play it so safe.
Yeah.
And like each one sounds so similar to the last one that like by the end of the album, I'm just tired of it. Like
That's fair.
There's just no variety other than the breakdowns, which are great.
Brennan, I have a question for you.
Oh,
you
boy.
seemed like you were about to throw another fucking fist into this little duel here right before we started talking about this song. And I'm curious to know either A, what that is, and like maybe what your thoughts are on True Colors as well. Because I thought I heard maybe you were ready to throw another one in the ring here.
I was, because I don't feel like this song should be at the bottom. I actually think that there's at least two that should be beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
I totally get Tyler's sentiment. Like, if you listen from the album from start to finish, you get like a massive amount of fatigue by the time you get to this point of the same thing, cookie cutter songwriting at its finest. And as I said before, like, this album does not have The River. This album does not have Alive. This album does not have Stitch. Like, it doesn't have any of those songs that I think are top tier Wage War. But I think the breakdown is pretty lit. I like that it's a breakdown that goes into an even heavier breakdown. Even though I've heard the chorus before somewhere out in the discography of my life.
Discography of your life.
I
like that.
It's just where the song is weak is that it seems like the entire track is just a vessel to get to the chorus. Because the first verse is literally like 20 seconds, and then boom, we're in the chorus.
Yeah.
And then
and nothing really happens either. It's just heavy.
Yeah.
And
like
then,
there's like that cool bit like of the distant vocal at the very beginning where you're like, oh, doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then the second verse is pretty much like the same deal, and then we're back at the chorus, and like even though I've heard it before, like it does sound good.
Yeah.
And then into the breakdown, and then third chorus, and then like a little bit of chugginess to end it.
Yeah.
But I guess the song I was going to throw into this little pit we got here is Never Said Goodbye, because that track bored the fuck out of me.
I just liked it because it was the only thing different than the same stuff I was getting.
Fair, honestly.
But I can see how it bored you.
I get that, but the song literally has like no crescendo.
No,
like,
not at all.
It's literally just one note like the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to like, let's go back to Dead Weight with Johnny Cash. Like that song had it was very similar song styles in the fact like they're not heavy like whatsoever. But like that at least had like life to it. Like this song, like the last couple times I heard the album, I just straight up skipped it because I'm like, this is like it just bores me. Like I need a good hook. Like I need something that's gonna like draw me in and make me want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And this song just doesn't have that whatsoever. And even though the rest of the album is pretty cookie cutter, like at least pretty much every other song on this album has something to that sort.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which is fair.
And then, yeah, so.
Because I definitely think that one is, like, I put in my notes, it's okay. Like, that was like the high point of it. I was like, it's okay. Kyle, you look like you're fuming.
Can I tell you what I put in my notes?
Yeah, go for it.
It's just a Nickelback song.
That is so true.
It's just a fucking Nickelback song, dude.
You know, you're not wrong.
You're
not wrong.
Gonna get hate. I'm gonna get so much hate for it. It just feels like a Nickelback song. And I know that's like possibly the worst thing to say about a song. Especially like in this community. But tell me I'm wrong.
You're not.
You're not.
Because I think the only reason that I give it any credit at all is just because it was the only change up in an album full of the same thing over and over again. Yeah, but in a vacuum, there's nothing special about it.
Like, I totally agree with that. And I think that's kind of what makes it stand out. But the more I think about it, the reason why I think this album is not fucking gutter trash is because the instrumentals are very good in a lot of this, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what saves it. And in this song, they attempt to do a more stripped down thing. And I feel like, other than like the guitar solo and maybe some of the stuff right at the end with like the drums, they kind of pick up at the end as well and kind of redeem it a bit. But I feel like the fact that they are like, let's highlight the vocals. Let's let them be kind of the forefront of this one instead of like the breakdowns, which in theory is not a bad idea. But when you let the vocals come to the forefront so much that you just don't really like do a lot with the instrumentals in the background, it kills it. It absolutely kills the song for me. And the vocals in this song are very good. Some of the harmonies are really good. But this is like the first time I can finally talk about this. I hate the way they handled the mixing of like the higher harmonies in this entire album. And this is one of the biggest points of it.
Agree 100%.
Yep. If they fucking leaned into the high harmonies, because like if you like fucking crank this music up and you really just go searching for it, you get those high vocals, and sometimes they're more present than other moments, especially like when like the longer notes ring out. But like they're cool fucking harmonies. Why the fuck wouldn't you lean into them? Mix it so that they're a fucking highlight, especially in a fucking track where like the vocals are the whole point of the damn track. This song angers me, dude, because, like, in concept, on paper, to, like, let the vocals kind of take over and do something like this is a neat idea, especially on an album like this, where we've been heavy the whole time, let's give them a little something. And they just do it in the worst way possible, to the point where it's just a fucking Nickelback song, dude. Song bothers me.
It's fair. I had so many issues with the mixing in so many songs. Like, there were just... Like at the beginning of True Colors, it was like all I hear are drums. Like it just they're drowning out the vocals completely. Mm-hmm. There was another song, I don't remember which song it was. It's in my notes somewhere, but like there was one song where like they were doing like some harmonies as like background vocals, but they were like overpowering the lead vocal. Mm-hmm. So then I was like, oh,
we've lost it.
This is really probably messy. Godspeed. Like I don't really know. It might have been the last song on the album.
I was gonna say I had a lot of that. My other, oddly enough, the fact that we're talking about it as well is kind of perfect, because If Tomorrow Never Comes is my other one where I just have like so many like question marks left about the whole fucking song. And
that's the song it was. I'm going back through my notes. It was that song where the harmonies just like are randomly super loud over the lead vocals. I really, like, why? Like, because with
Godspeed, I really like them. Like, it sounds good, but like the mixing of it, like it just seems like they like with how they mix the instruments, like how like the instruments are always like dominant, like especially drums. Mm-hmm. It seems like they like run out of runway, and like they hit the ceiling because obviously like you don't want to peak or anything,
right?
And like it just seems like they try to like pack in like the harmonizing vocals and like background shit on top of that last chorus, but like they have like such like little headway to like make it work that it kind of has to overpower your regular vocals. It's like I mean, even though it sounds good.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think something that this album suffers from is that I hear good harmonies, I hear cool implementation of the piano in the fucking last track especially, and it's just covered up by like either like chuggy chords, the drums overpowering it, or they just decided to not mix it well, and it's just not at the forefront. And like I can hear it distantly, it peeks through every once in a while. But like this album would be so much better if they leaned into these cool little things they added. Like there are cool things that are just covered up in multiple songs that it's honestly the fact that it's there gets me excited. And then the fact that they just don't lean into it is just even more disappointment to me. Like with so many songs on this album, like that, so much of my like anguish listening to this whole album was in the fact that like they just didn't want to lean into these cool things, or like these decisions not to, like there's like, okay, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Tyler, you threw this out there, right? That you wanted one of the last two songs you're thinking maybe are at the bottom. And
yes, I mostly meant the last song.
Okay. So I have such a mixed relationship with if Tomorrow Never Comes. It's the only song that's over 3.5 minutes max, or 3 minutes, because most songs on this fucking album are just under 3 minutes or just over, with a couple hitting 3.5. This song's like 4.5, and I was like,
because you can only recycle the same thing over and over again so many times. If you do it too much, then people will catch on and get tired of it.
I legitimately fucking gasped when the song came on my fucking phone, and I was like, holy shit, wait, this one's 4 minutes. It's like 4.5 minutes. What do they do? Do they just go silent for the last minute and a half? What the hell's going on? But anyways, I saw it was over 4 minutes. I was like, okay, interesting. Maybe this is gonna be like a big album ender, you know? And I heard that little implementation of the piano. I was like, ooh, a new instrument. Maybe they're gonna really, you know, like change it up a little bit. I'm excited, and I was very interested. And it's a heavy song, but it also almost is like a ballad-esque song as well, with like the way the piano comes through. And I actually kind of like the way that they mess with like the weird, like distant high parts in this song a little bit. Because even in the chorus, there are beats where like a lot of the instrumentation will like drop out, and the piano will like hit a chord in that that gap. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like this. And as the song goes out, it just keeps going, gets a little heavy there, and as the song ends, it fades the fuck out. And I have not, in all of the episodes we've done, I've never really given my opinion on like the decision to fade a song out. And I just want you to know, you're a fucking coward if you fade your song out.
Wow.
Fuck you. And especially
in every
in this
scenario,
song,
you're a coward if you do it.
I think there's just so many cool ways that you could fucking resolve the song. You could like especially with this song, I was so excited. I could hear them like starting to like kind of like deconstruct the song, like we were talking about in the Bill Murray review. We were just talking about how we like the way that songs will like kind of deconstruct, and as they like conclude, they have like a resolution, and it feels so good. It's so satisfying the way it concludes. And in this song, it like starts to break down. You're like, oh, are they gonna do something cool to end this album? And then it just spends the last fucking 35 seconds fading out. You could have done literally anything cool. You could have fucking had the piano and the guitar just like appear and play together out and like have this cool harmony thing, because you know how to write harmonies. I've heard it. I had to fucking turn on my fucking bat hearing to like suck it out of the fucking mix. But you fucking chose, after this whole album of having these abrupt fucking blah endings and the heavy shit this entire time, you chose to fade out one of the prettiest instrumentals you've had this entire time? I just was so angry. Like, you have so much potential. You can even have him come. The vocals in this track are really good. He's like got some higher bits where like he kind of hits a falsetto, and I'm like, he could have an exposed moment where it's just him and the piano at the end. That's different. That's new. It's like they care. But no, they faded it out because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. You guys were talking about how it feels like they just ran out of content to the point where they just kept doing the same thing over again for the last minute and a half of this song, and it just fades out because they didn't know how to end this garbage album, dude. I am so angry that they just faded this shit out.
You've been heated a lot of times on this show. I think this is like the ultimate tirade. Like, I think this is the most angry I've ever seen you about anything in my life.
Well, in the name of progress,
my notes, fucking cowards.
Yeah, I think we can agree this deserves to be at the bottom. So I would
And
say
people love this song, dude.
I know they do. I know they do.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
But the thing
But we've
is,
talked to death about how we don't get how people like this album, so we can't dwell on it too much
this
longer.
Song, right? But it doesn't do anything. It doesn't fucking do anything at all. It's so disappointing, man.
Yeah, my notes for this are basically just like, I feel like I've already heard this before. The chorus is okay, and then it just kind of devolves into me talking about how disappointed I was in the album, and then how the mixing is bad on this song specifically, and then I mentioned at the end, I was like, oh, this like slowdown part's actually kind of cool. I kind of like how this is ending, and then I was like, yeah, there's no payoff, and then that was, and then I went to bed because I was upset. So. Yeah, we're putting that at the bottom. That's what I wanted. Do we want Never Say Goodbye to be second to last? Because I'm okay with that too.
Yes.
Okay, Cool.
Nickelback, bad.
I went to work today angry because I listened to this while I was getting ready to go to work today. Because of the way this album ended.
That was a good decision. So, what do we want next? I know we've talked about True Colors a bit, but the breakdown does save it. So, what songs have no saving graces? Because I could see how in a vacuum True Colors would be good, specifically because it has one really good thing about it. But I know there are songs in this album that I think don't do much of anything. I know we've already talked about in an episode of This Month in Music how we didn't like High Horse or Circle the Drain. Do we think those two are next, or do we think there's anything like weaker than those? Because I think Circle the Drain should be next.
That's where I was leaning.
Because I don't even have like any notes about that one. It was just like, it just bored me. Like that was a song that I didn't think had any real like standout moments in it at all. It just felt like they wrote a song to write a song, and it was. It's another bad, but it's like it's so safe that like
it's
why
another
even
example of them trying to be like not a heavy band for once.
Yeah,
and Kyle hits this nail on the head before. Also, like it's like they like maybe like this song really doesn't add anything cool though, other than the other two that we've discussed, and like they still put the priority on the instrumentals, even though the instrumentals are like not really existent in this track.
Yeah.
And it has probably like the most half-assed breakdown on the album. Let's be real.
I forgot it had a breakdown, if I'm being honest.
Exactly. Like it's mostly just a couple chugs, and then it like goes back into him with a chorus.
Yeah.
I think Circle the Drain's like weak as fuck.
Yeah, I really don't like that song. I was hoping that like upon re-listening to it, like in the context of the full album, I would like it more, and I liked it less actually. Yeah. So it was. I genuinely don't like that song. It's just not good. And the shitty thing is like they're capable of making things that are like softer and are still like interesting.
Johnny Cash.
They did like the acoustic version of Johnny Cash is incredible.
Yep.
And like so like they're capable of doing more stripped down stuff. They're capable of doing stuff that's like more clean focused. Even songs on like Pressure, where they had a lot of songs that were more like clean vocal focused. I think I wouldn't say that there's a single song on that album that I think is more boring than Circle the Drain. I think Circle the Drain is more boring than that entire album, personally.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't think it's as boring as Never Said Goodbye, but I think it's really close.
Yeah. I agree.
Like it just
the only reason that I think Never Say Goodbye has any redeeming quality at all is because in the context of the album, it gave me an acoustic guitar, and that was different, and I went, huh. But like in a vacuum, no, that's stupid. It's still super boring, and I would not say that was better than Circle the Drain at all. Shocking that I was really hoping going into this, like when Circle the Drain dropped, I was like, I hope this is the weakest track on the album. The fact that it's not is so painful.
I think these two songs in particular, Circle the Drain and High Horse, really do just kind of like highlight the like, here's Wage War, like kind of feeling of it, you know? Like Circle the Drain is so just there. It's like, somewhat of a catchy chorus with a chug, I guess, and some interesting instrumentals here and there.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And then High Horse is just heavy to be heavy. It doesn't change a lot. There's a couple little instrumental things that change up here and there, especially in the last like minute and a half or so, that I think is why I'd put High Horse above Circle the Drain for me, because they do change a tad. But like it just feels like it's heavy to be heavy. And I even put in my notes, like I said before, it's a great song to lose yourself to in a pit or something, but I just want more, dude. I want more than that. Like
yeah, at least High Horse has like a decent breakdown, but like
it's called the whole song.
We talked about this, I think, when the singles came out, but like they both feel very one note. They're just on opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah. Like it seems like Circle the Drain is like softer for the sake of being softer, and then High Horse is like heavy for the sake of being heavy, but they're all just like very one note the whole time. Like there's not really, I know we talk about this a lot about how songs like take you on like a roller coaster. Like they have different parts that'll kind of like hold your interest, switch things up a little bit. Like there's, you know, you go through different parts of the song. Both of those songs, I just felt like we start here and we're just there the whole time until the song ends. And it's just not interesting to me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't do anything to hold my interest at all.
To me,
different reasons.
No, for sure. In my head, when I'm like imagining like the roller coaster, right, with this album, a lot of the songs, what they do, especially these two, it's just like you're kind of like building up, because they do start like low and kind of get up into something, you know. They have a little bit of a climb, and then they hit like a plateau where it's the chorus, and then they kind of drop you off a little bit as you're getting excited for the breakdown, and then you hit those bumpers that slow down the roller coaster at the end that kind of shake you really aggressively, and you're like, oh, there was a breakdown here, and then you get off the roller coaster, and it's like, ah, man. Damn,
I will say
that was pretty bad.
There is one song that I would put above Circle the Drain but beneath High Horse.
Really?
Oh.
What would that be?
Just one song. Slow Burn. It is the
I have to
absolute...
check my notes because I don't even remember what Slow Burn was.
It is...
I literally just like,
it is the absolute epitome of cookie cutter wage war song. Like everything we've said, the 2-minute breakdown, which I have definitely heard before. Like it is not a fucking revolutionary fucking rock'em sock'em robots breakdown. Like it is basic as fuck. The chorus, I've heard it before. This song, like this album has other choruses before it that even are in a similar light. I mean, this song is weak sauce.
I would say though that Slow Burn, while being cookie cutter, but you know that's just kind of the way this album is. It's more dynamic than High Horse, and that's why I want to put it above
too.
it. Because that's like High Horse to me is just like, it's not a roller coaster. It's like I get in a bumper car and I drive straight for 2 minutes, and then like Slow Burn at least does different things. Like it at least has has like structure to it, you know. Like when it strips down to like just the vocals, like before it goes into like the final chorus, like that was cool. Like they didn't have to do that, and they did. And in an album, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to get things to like.
But they've done that before. Like even
but like
even in this album, like
no, I'm not saying I want it to be any higher than just above High Horse, but I think that like. I think that I personally would want it to be above for the sole reason that it
just does more.
It's not a flat line of like, it's not just brutal for the sake of being brutal. It seems like they actually, even if it's very similar to other stuff, it at least seems like it's structured more. It at least seems like a little more effort was put into writing it. Mm-hmm. Not a lot, but like a little more. So like that's me personally. Kyle, you're gonna be the tiebreaker on this one, but
I share both of your sentiments in this. I lean more towards Tyler's though. I think that High Horse to me, I know you said like Circle Drain bores the fuck out of you. High Horse bores the fuck out of me. It's like it's like you know, like Oh my god, this is so mean. But like when your like phone alarm's going off in the morning and it's just going and it's just shaking and playing like the same fucking thing over and over again, and you're just like, please stop.
Wow.
It's all High Horses.
That's really brisk.
Because it's just the same fucking thing the whole gosh darn song, dude.
You're not wrong. I feel bad that we are shitting on them so much.
I'm sorry I'm making really mean fucking comparisons, but I mean, that's just how I feel, dude. This is my opinion. And yeah. I do think, as far as Slow Burn goes, I would agree. I feel like they do it, like, they've done it before. It's not really, like, fucking, like, changing the game or moving the needle, like I was saying before, you know? But I think that there are bits in this that, like, kind of caught me that, like, from an objective standpoint, I really like some of the little things they threw in. Like, the second verse, there are some really cool guitar riffs that they're kind of, like, just going in the background of, like, the vocals in the second verse that I kind of caught me, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I think what really engaged me into that, like, listening for that, was because the chorus ended a little unexpectedly to me. It, like, they had, like, some distortion effect at the end of the choruses that kind of, like kind of make their voice, like, kind of, like, do, like, the stuttery, like, they cut up the end of the vocal in the chorus, and I kind of liked it. I was like, oh, that's a little different. And then immediately went into the second verse, which was much like the first verse, except for there was like kind of like a guitar running over the top. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I didn't see that coming. And I kind of liked that. I also think the end of the song is pretty powerful. Like the last little bit of it, I kind of drive to the end. There are a couple little change ups here and there that I thought they were kind of intriguing. Does it save like the first bit of the song? Not really. Chorus, other than that, like the change up at the end there with like the distortion bit, doesn't do much for me. But I think those couple things that I mentioned, to me, interests me, and that's more than I can say for High Horse.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
To me, it does something that made me raise my eyebrows.
Yeah.
And High Horse didn't do that.
That's where I'm at too. It's like I don't like either song.
Yeah.
But like at least Slow Burn had me take a note on it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
See, like for me, it's like the opposite. Like for High Horse, like High Horse is pretty. I mean, obviously it's heavy just to be heavy. Let's be real. But like High Horse was kind of like them showing the world that like they still had heaviness, and
that's
like
fair.
Even though it is extremely one note, at least the song like breaks itself up a little bit compared to Slow Burn, which is literally just something I've heard from this band and other bands in the past. But I can agree with you guys on this. Like, I don't know. You guys do bring up some good points. But like,
I actually like. Oh, I
like whenever,
sorry, go ahead.
Like whenever you like talked about like the second verse, how there was kind of like a little riff in the background. Like the first couple of times I heard it, like I didn't really hear it because like the mixing, like it's another one of those things. Like, I gotta turn on fucking Sonar just to, like pick it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like hearing it like in headphones and then like on like my like Bose soundbar and sub like in my living room, like you can tell like which is how everything's mixed. Like that is so deep in the back that like, you know, you got to be like looking for it to like really pick it up.
Yeah.
But it is something different. So yeah, I'll yeah. I mean, I'm vote it anyway, but yeah.
I like your argument for High Horse that you just made, actually. The fact that like it is heavy, but they do seem to like kind of segment it so it's not just like one thing constantly. They do definitely have like segments of like a different kind of like beat structure for the breakdown almost here and there in High Horse that I do think should be noted because
it's like, sorry,
I do like as well as what you said, the fact that like it's like them reminding everyone that like we can be really heavy, especially because I mean, like, correct me if I'm wrong, the last album you said was more like kind of broken down, right? Their last album that they did.
Yeah, there was a lot more. It was a lot more like
exposed kind of stuff, like less heavy.
People complain about it because it was like soft.
Got you. That's what I thought.
Yeah,
it
was very neutered.
Yeah.
So the fact that what was High Horse the first?
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it was the first single.
I do think the fact that they kind of like were like, hey, we still have it, you know, like that's cool, and I think that like that is something that like as a song should be proud to do because it definitely hyped people up. As far as like, because like we're a fucking blip in the ocean, dude. Like we don't fucking matter to the Wage War fan base, and like the fact that like as far as like what the song did for like Wage War fans and Wage War in general, being like we're fucking back You know, like that's cool. That's really cool, and I can appreciate that.
But from an objective sense, does that make the song good? No.
Exactly. No, I'm not changing my stance. I'm just validating the argument.
That was like when it came out, I was like,
I get you.
I see what they're doing, but like they're not putting much effort in.
Yeah.
We're gonna walk those in.
I'm down.
I don't want to talk about them anymore.
No, I know. I feel like we've been dissecting this so much, and like we have so much to go. We've been doing it so long.
There's 3 songs that have to be the next 3 because we're left with 6 songs. I think that the first 3 songs on the album are the best songs on the album. Personally.
Okay.
Wait, we still have 6 songs?
Yep.
Yeah.
We have.
What about Slow Burn?
1, 2. Yeah. Because we have True Colors, Death Roll, Godspeed, Manic, T, 3 laps. Still have 6 left.
I thought we put True Colors in before.
No,
we haven't placed True Colors.
We talked about it. I talked about it
Okay.
first, and then we never placed it because we kept finding things that were way worse. So
True Colors is probably next.
Here's the thing, because I have issues with True Colors, as I've already mentioned. I also have issues with Death Roll. I also have issues with Godspeed, and I don't know which issues I think are worse. Obviously, when we started this, I thought True Colors was worse. True Colors does have that really good breakdown, though. Death Roll has like the weakest chorus in the entire album, I think. Like, the song was okay. I think everything surrounding the chorus in Death Roll was fine. Like, I didn't really have issue with any of it, but, like, every time I went to the chorus, I was like, oh. Like, that's all you could come up with for that. Like, I think, like, if Death Roll had a better chorus, I would want it to be higher. But I think the chorus is boring. With Godspeed, I have like a lot of like really weird issues with this song. Like, I like that like it kind of does some switching back and forth between the cleans and then like the brutal shit. The chorus is pretty clean, sounded pretty good. The main issue I had with this song was that like the second verse kept like the exact same level of like the volume, of like the intensity of the drum beat and everything, and it just made that entire segment of the song feel very flat, because it like the beginning it kind of builds up to that, but then it just stays there for like a really long time. And like I would have liked to see a little more dynamicism. I don't know the word. I wanted more dynamics, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So like it was weird to me that like it just it does like a cool build thing, but then it just like it takes that like chunky like energy and it just like does not let it go for like an entire other verse after the chorus. And I was like, well, now it just feels like this is dragging out. Like the verse is getting lost in the song structure at this point, because it just feels like, I don't know, I didn't like that. So like those are my gripes with those songs. I don't know what's worse of all of them. Those are my gripes.
If I were
go for it, Brennan.
If I were to order these, I'd put True Colors at the bottom, Godspeed middle, Death Roll top. Here's why. True Colors literally kind of sucks until the breakdowns.
Yes. 100% yes.
Sucks afterwards. Okay. Godspeed, for me, the only really redeeming quality of the song is the chorus. I do get your gripe, the fact that it builds up to like a decibel level and then just fucking hangs out there like forever.
Right.
And like they come up with a very good harmony in the end. But as I've said before, like the fact that they've risen to this level and haven't like fluctuated at all, like they run out of runway, and now the harmony like overpowers the main vocals, which is being overpowered by the instruments, especially the drums. Like it's like this weird kind of like, you can tell it sounds good. Like if it were mixed right, it would sound good, but like it's all just blah. It's here.
Yeah.
Even though the chorus does redeem that song, in my opinion. And then Death Roll. This is another situation where Wage War pretty much rips off a riff, or at least gets really close to it.
Yeah, I have that in my notes that the riff sounds like incredibly similar to something I've heard before.
So there is a song from a band called After the Burial, which ironically is playing in Pittsburgh tonight. So put that how it is. But After the Burial is like one of the kings of metalcore, like damn near deathcore levels of music. Okay, they're up there. All right, I've seen them a few times. They fucking slap. On their last album, they had a song called Behold the Crown. It was the first single. So it came out in like 2018, 2019 was when the single came out. And that song, like literally the riff is just a bunch of sick fucking bendies, pinch harmonics. Like it is just disgusting. And Death Roll's riff is literally like the same exact riff, but like not as good as the After the Burial.
I'm glad you figured out what that was, because that was bothering me. Because that was another instance of like, I've definitely heard this before, but I don't know where.
Definitely shown you guys that song before at some point.
I've listened to that album like a million times. It's an incredible album.
Yes. Like, because After the Burial is incredible. Death Roll, even though they stole that riff, it does sound good. But obviously not as good as After the Burial, the band they copied off of, like they did with Architects with Doomsday. I like obviously the chorus is like not even really a chorus, because this is kind of like just a song that's like designed to be heavy from the get-go.
Right.
And I do appreciate the fact that like not a lot of metal music, well, in today's day, like a lot of bands are coming back to this, but like I did appreciate the solo towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it wasn't like the flashiest thing in the world, like when heavy songs like will like come up with a solo, especially like songs that are just heavy, like it does add like that little bit of flair that like I feel like heavy songs kind of need. Because like if you have a song that's just heavy from start to finish, like it better be structured incredibly well, or B, it needs something that, you know, flashes it up and spices it up a bit. And that's where the solo came in on this song. Like, so for me, this is definitely the strongest of the three. Mm-hmm. I think True Colors is the weakest of the three, and Godspeed is the most mediocre of the three. So that's how I would order it, you know. Just my thought.
I can agree with that, honestly. I'm perfectly okay with that.
Okay. Kyle, what do you think?
I agree for sure True Colors is next. I think that, if I'm being honest with you, the 5 songs after True Colors, I enjoyed. I enjoyed Godspeed and Death Roll a good bit.
I did too, surprisingly.
I didn't hate them. I just I had problems with them.
These last 5 after True Colors, I think like overall was a pretty nice experience, because especially with Death Roll, whoa. Like as far as instrumentals go, probably the best on the album. In my opinion, they fucking hit so hard. The fucking guitar solo is so good near the end of that fucking song. It happens at the most unexpected time, right? Because like the song is like one of those ones where it's like heavy to be heavy kind of thing, but like they actually fucking change it up. Like with like how we were mentioning, like how the beat structure kind of gets changed up in High Horse a little bit. They do that constantly in this song, and I was like, oh, cool. And I kind of feel what you're saying, Brennan. Like it doesn't really feel like it's like a chorus, because it just feels like it's another like point in the path that it's going to get to this like really fucking intense ending. I do think my biggest gripe with Death Roll though is the fact that it's doing kind of really cool instrumental stuff, and they chose for like the last like stop on this kind of like heavy journey they're going through is like it's really basic. Like they're just doing like just a fucking hit on the drums, hit on the cymbals, hit on the drums. Hit, like there's just like really not like, for a song that went a lot of cool places, really weird way to end it. I get that like maybe it's like trying to be like a epic like exposed like with like the fucking screams and shit. Some of the gutturals were cool in this fucking song too. Fucking bleh and shit, it was cool. But I think that this song, like as far as like instrumentals go, impressed me a lot. I was like, wow, cool.
Yeah, the drums definitely get very lazy at the end.
They definitely
sure.
do. Godspeed. Chorus was catchy. I thought the chorus was kind of neat. I think the best way you guys described it though is it kind of like the very beginning kind of gets up to a point and then it just kind of gets stuck in like this space you guys were saying. I think it's a really good way to put it. Like the energy doesn't like dip or climb, get stuck here. Something I did like notice and enjoy was that in the chorus they have like moments where like the instrumentals just like straight drop out, to kind of get you out of it a little bit. Doesn't necessarily go somewhere different, but the lack of something happening creates a little bit of a dynamic there that I did enjoy. I thought it was a cool like kind of contrast in that moment. That being said, could have been cooler if you would have done like anything else. I think I would come up with another thing that would have made the song more interesting. Is it a song that I feel like I could kind of like bop to like at a concert? Absolutely. Is it one that I might actually like could get like it kind of like stuck in my ear, the chorus, and be able to like sing along to? Yeah. And I think that's massive props for this album because I don't think a lot of these songs kind of stick out to me. But
yeah,
of a lot of the songs, Godspeed and Death Roll actually stand out to me more. They're like the ones that kind of hop off the page to me a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I think that's massive props to them. I actually enjoy both of these tunes.
Which one do you think is better? Because now
Death
I'm kind of starting to think that I want Godspeed over Death Roll.
I think the actual like the detail put into some of the instrumentals in Death Roll legitimately impressed me. Like really did impress me. And I think that that didn't happen a lot on this album. But like there was like a technical prowess that went into some of the instrumental moments in Death Roll. I also really like the fucking screaming guitar lick. It was cool. But like just like that technical prowess, I could feel it. I could feel that like these are really experienced musicians that know what they're doing. And
I have to show you guys "Behold the Crowd" by After the Burial, just so that way you get like where this.
I feel like I've heard it too, but I wouldn't have heard it in a long time.
I've heard it a lot.
But yeah, no,
I like that album.
In the space of this album, though, I think that Death Roll's technical prowess did impress me a good bit, and that's why I'd give it the edge over Godspeed. Very close songs, though. I like them both a good bit. Of the songs on this album, there are two that I could see myself coming back to in the future, possibly.
Same.
Yeah. I can see it. So, man, this is exhausting. We're on to the top three, finally.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to ask, are we like for sure that these top three are the top three?
I don't know. Is there any you want to drop? This was just like, these were the ones that I liked the most. And no one argued when I threw this out there.
Yeah,
so
I was kind of waiting.
With it. But if you're having second thoughts, now is the time to make your case.
Manic. Like the song.
Yeah.
Not the album. Kind of left me going, what the fuck is going on? A lot of times. I even wrote it in my notes multiple times. Where like it just felt... Because, like, it kind of has the thing that we're talking about where we're like, oh, it's doing something a little different. Cool. But it, like, the whole first half of the song doesn't feel like a Wage War song at all to me.
I liked it, though.
I didn't, in my, like, personal opinion.
Especially on an album where they just keep giving you the same shit over and over again. This is, like, the one song on the album where they actually do something fucking different. And, but yes, it's very different from what they normally do, but they, in my opinion, they do a good job with it. Held my interest the whole time. It was weird, but like, I don't know. I like it when we do this with other bands. We give them credit when they like do like genre swapping, which is basically what this is. Like,
kinda. They're
like, yeah, let's do some like weird trap shit and like mix it in here. And I'm like, okay, like I'm down with it. I enjoyed it. And then especially upon hearing the rest of the album where I basically got the same song like 5 times in a row at the end, I was like, at the beginning of the album, I remember Manic was very different, and I really appreciate that now after hearing so much sameness. Am I going to say that this deserves to be the best song in the album? Not at all. But I think that I didn't have any like issues with it, and I appreciated that they did something different, that the song had like actual structure to it. It actually like did different things, went different places. And on an album where that just isn't the case 9 times out of 10, I think that gives it some extra staying power, in my opinion.
I really didn't like Manic. If I'm just being completely honest with you, I totally see what you're saying, and I don't disagree. However, the verses are.
I mean, yeah.
Over and over with nothing instrumentally going on until the chorus where they go Manic, and then they do like a really basic fucking chord progression of the guitars, and then the last like 40 seconds happen that's kind of cool and different, and I'm like, finally something happened. Like, it's just him fucking speaking the whole goddamn, and like, I get cool, you tried something different. I do appreciate that. You're right, like we do that a lot on the show. I was so bored because nothing happened. Here's my experience. Like, this is what this experience was for me. First minute, I went, oh, it's different. Second minute hits, it's still doing the same thing. It's different, but it hasn't changed since the beginning of this fucking song. Oh, they yelled the name of the song, and now they're doing a little bit of chords, I guess. And then the ending happens, and like, okay, it's kind of a song. Yeah. I thought it was boring and dumb. I really, if I'm being honest with you, like, you can't break down something that doesn't have any depth. And that's how I feel about this song. There's just not a lot going on. And you're right, it's cool he did something different. I appreciate that. However,
it's fair. I'm not going to argue with you because I genuinely just don't care about this album. So if you want to put it lower, go
Brennan,
for it.
Brennan, what do you think about
honestly?
Manic?
Brennan, what do you think about that song? Do you hate it too? Am I an idiot?
No. But I would definitely put Death Roll above it.
I'd put Death Roll and Godspeed above it, in my opinion.
I don't know about Godspeed.
The chorus of Godspeed is fun to listen to.
That is very true.
The chorus of Manic is not fun to listen to.
The fucking everything about Manic isn't really fun to listen to.
I know.
We're being honest. Like,
it really is so
it's just
boring.
Like, it's like, what the fuck? Like, you're a fucking metalcore band, dude. Like, I don't.
I thought the Nickelback track was at least a little bit more interesting than this, bro. What's happening?
Like, it's not, like, it's so, like, lazy. Like every time I hear Manic, I just think, like, laziness. Like, and Kyle hit the nail right on the head. Like, you can't break something down if there's, like, zero depth to begin with. Like I know I said this before. Like, you can't set the bar on the ground and bring a shovel. Like, it doesn't work that way. Like, you have to have something like an actual like concrete foundation for a track, not super half-assed verse, really basic chord progression, and then they just scream Manic, and then we're on the next verse. Like,
yeah,
so yeah, you know.
Also, to be fair, I only listened to this album one time.
Same.
So I think a lot of my wanting the song to be higher was just because I had such a bad time with the second like 2/3 of this album that I was just like, I remember like they were doing different stuff at the beginning.
You know what's crazy? I've listened to this album like almost 4 times through. I could not.
Sorry.
Wow, you put in the time. I did. Yeah,
I prepared. I prepared for this album hardcore, and I'm not happy I did so. But yeah, I would put Godspeed and Death Roll above Manic.
Yeah, and I can get behind it. I can definitely get behind it because the chorus in Godspeed is actually good.
Yeah, it's just that's literally like the reason why you come to Godspeed, for being honest.
And like the chorus in Death Roll sucks ass, but like the rest of it's pretty good, so I'll allow
even
it.
Like for me, it's like not even really designed to be a chorus.
Same.
Like it's just a chorus in like the songwriting sense, but not like in the actual like performance sense.
Yeah, because to me, like the chorus in Death Roll just felt like filler. It was weird because it was like I enjoyed the entire rest of the song, but every time I got to the chorus, I was just like this leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, this just feels like, Like you could have done more. Like you're going so hard on the rest of the song, and then like it felt like they just didn't know what to do for that part, so they just gave us another like very basic thing. It's just the same problem that we have with like every song, where like the whole album just kind of feels lazy.
I feel like, and, like with Death Roll,
there was an element of that in there.
Sorry, I didn't cut you off, but with Death Roll, I feel like to me, because like I feel like it is evident that you and I didn't really listen to this album multiple times, because like with Manic, I heard it and I went, was something supposed to happen? And you were like, oh, thank God, something different. And then we moved on, and then that's like what stuck with us, you know. And then Death Roll, like you listened to it once and you like were like, this is the chorus, and then like you kind of go off it like a basic song structure. To me, it didn't catch me as like the chorus moment until like it got to like the like if you want to be technical, like the second verse, I guess, of that song. And then I went, oh, it's a chorus. Oh, it kind of felt like it was like just like a pivot, you know, like a pivot point, and then they kept shifting. And I think when you look at it like that, it feels a little bit more like dynamic overall, instead of like a point to come back to that just isn't as strong. Instead, it's just like a change in momentum and like pacing to get you to like the cool next thing, or that cool guitar solo at the end, or the inevitable shitty payoff. But I think that, to me, like that made like that whole journey feel better to me. But like I was saying, like it really does kind of show that we listened to it once and we went, God, please stop. To kind of like lean into like the reason why you felt like it was higher, I do think that it stops there. You know, like while I did kind of shit on it, like not having much depth, I do appreciate the fact that it does something different. It's cool that they kind of dip out, and then the song does end up being like those kind of spoken parts, but heavier, with the instrumentals finally picking up in that last like 30 seconds, 40 seconds of the song. So it does kind of meld that into them, even though it starts out very bland to me. And I can appreciate
it does take a while to get going.
It really, wow. I appreciate that more than a pretty well written breakdown on a song that I've heard before in True Colors. And that's why like the buck stops there, you know, like it doesn't need to drop farther than that. So I can see why in like context you had like strong feelings for it. Objectively, ew, gross. Let's move on.
We're in the top two. I think Teeth is the best.
Maybe. I don't know.
Because Relapse
maybe
Relapse has the one issue that we talked about like a million times today, and that's that like the main riff sounds like something I've heard before. I couldn't place it, but I was just like, I have definitely heard this somewhere. The rest of the song is great though. I mean, like as a whole, I really liked it. Like the breakdown at 140, brutal. The breakdown at the end is nasty. Like, just, it's so good. But I think that, like, I don't know, Teeth, just, I feel like is better as a whole, in my opinion. The chorus is, like, super catchy. It does the best job of kind of, like, blending the clean and unclean vocals. It has a really cool breakdown too. Like, I just don't really have any issues with Teeth. And the fact that I have like one gripe with Relapse kind of makes me want to put it below it. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
What do you think, Brennan? I'm also listening to them and thinking intently. That's why I push it on you before you can push it on me.
It's like these songs are clearly the top. They kind of highlight, like, it's like they show you like in little bits and pieces like the problems that come later. These songs like definitely set the trend, and I think that the fact that they're the first two kind of helps like the ability to palette the album. However, like these songs actually set out to do what they meant to do better than pretty much everything else. Tyler's right, like the chorus in Teeth is really catchy, but also so is the chorus in Relapse.
I agree.
Relapse definitely has like some nasty stuff, just as Teeth does. The song structures of both songs are very similar. Like that's the thing. Like these songs are like what's good of what's bad with this album. And the fact that like there's so many tracks that are like extremely similar, and like these two like right off the bat like set the precedent, but they're also better.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably have to go with Teeth as well, even though I do like Relapse a lot.
Same.
In relation. So that's probably where I would go. But
I think as far as like kind of like really dissecting these songs goes, I think they both are really like a lot more intricate than anything else on this album. Or like we talked about like there being cool moments in songs like Death Roll and Godspeed, and even like True Colors even they have like moments where like ooh, both of these songs feel like one fucking thing, and they like go places and they transition to them well, and I appreciate that. With Relapse, I think that like they know how to like manage the momentum really well. They really like have like a really good sense of where they're gonna go and how it's gonna end. It's not like the most complex thing in the first half. Like the main theme is going on, but like instrumentally, there's not like a ton of crazy stuff going on. But as you go and you especially get to that part with the Just Another Bad Habit with the breakdown of the instrumentals and stuff in Relapse, it's really cool. I like the bass specifically, and like that like bit of like the heaviness in that little bit is really cool. The chorus, like you said, I mean, in both of them are very good. But as far as continuing on Relapse, I feel like my biggest gripe with it is that I think it is one of the worst mixed songs on the album. I really hate that so much. I mean, like, I think a lot of the songs are mixed poorly, but like really, like the chorus is catchy and there is a high harmony in that chorus, and I wish I could hear it the whole time because like it really gets lost. And God, it's just so disappointing. Like, it's also cool that these two songs kind of connect together really well. Like, they really flow well, like as far as like listening to them back to back, which a lot of other songs don't do on this album. A lot of songs just like end really abruptly, and then the next one starts, and it's like a completely different idea. Whereas this one, the first song does end abruptly, but then like that, like the pulsing almost like the that you hear at the beginning of Teeth was kind of in the end of Relapse, and I was like, oh, like they planned this out, they thought about it. It's a cool connection to the two. Very interesting. As far as Teeth goes, I actually don't have a lot of notes about it. I just really enjoy it. I think it's just really well written. Chorus, maybe one of my favorites on the album. Godspeed's up there, but like we said, it just kind of gets stuck. And then Relapse is very good in Teeth as well, as far as choruses go on the album. Teeth, the biggest takeaway for me with Teeth is that it's catchy. It's heavy when it needs to be heavy. It's not overly heavy. And I like the way that they chose to transition instrumentally from like verse to chorus and like the bridge and everything. It almost feels like the transition is like blended together. Like they really do shift back and forth between like ideas and like themes very well. It's another time that I feel like these musicians rather are like really flexing like the fact that they know how to write a good song. And arguably, it continues my disappointment with the fact that the whole album is not this. But that being said, I think the fact that Teeth is just like a really well executed song overall with a really catchy chorus, a very smart way of doing transitions instead of it just being like heavy the whole time. It's heavy when it needs to be. The ending even builds on itself a little bit, does some layering that we really love to see in a lot of other bands that we look for. I think that like Teeth is just like cookie cutter in the right way. You know, like they took like the formula, they actually did their own thing with it a bit. Surprised me with some bits. And it ends really strong, and I really like it. And it's a good song. Like all around Teeth is a very good song. Whereas Relapse, I think, tries some more stuff, maybe, and it doesn't really land. And then the mixing is rough, and it takes me out of it. And when it comes down to it, if there's like a gripe about one and not the other, It's how I feel, so I would lean towards Teeth as well. That's just like my like breakdown, like play-by-play almost of each song. Because like,
no, dude, you broke it down well.
Because I want you guys to know, like, I really did, like, even though I wasn't enjoying myself listening to this album, I did think, like, I really tried to go objectively at this, and that, like, hopefully the fact that I kind of went into detail, like, shows that, like, I did that with every song.
Right.
And I still couldn't find the enjoyment in it. Or at least in all of it, unfortunately. And we've kind of made it through all the songs, obviously we'll do the recap, but, like, my biggest takeaway is, like, we get to Teeth, and, like, it just feels like a well-put-together idea. It does just feel like, almost feels like they just didn't try in some of these songs. They had an idea, and they ran with it, and it just didn't go anywhere. It didn't move the needle, like I was saying before. And this is just just disappointing, dude. Yeah. I don't know.
If I had to describe this album in one word, it would just be lazy. Like, and it's disappointing because their first two albums, you can feel some passion in it, you know, like you can tell that there was like some intent behind writing those songs, like be it in like the way they're structured, in the ways that they're like writing these really like unique instrumentals, in like the content of like the lyrics and everything, you know. I think that you can feel that a lot more, and just these last two albums just haven't felt that way. This one especially is just like, it felt like they made an album because they had to, not because they wanted to. And I'm probably wrong about that, but if they do want to keep writing music, they don't have the ideas to support that, apparently. Because this was not a fun experience. I don't feel good having to shit on a band that I like.
Seriously.
Like, I have taken zero enjoyment in having to tear apart an album from a band that I have loved and respected for years. Like, it is not a good time. I really hope that in the future they return to form in some way. I know the world collectively thinks that they have.
No.
I just don't agree. And I know they can do better because they have done better. And I want that again. So
as like a new listener, I wanted to like get on the train because so many people are so passionate about this band. I see like the people that love this band.
Yeah.
Love the music. You guys have been a part of it at some point, you know? Like, you've told me how much you like Wage War and like those, especially those first two albums. And I see these people just fucking pouring it out on socials about how much they love this album and stuff. And I was like, maybe it's finally going to be the time where I buy a Wage War t-shirt. I'm ready to make the commitment, dude. I'm going to do it. And this album did not impress me at all. I shouldn't say at all. There were moments, but
there were moments.
It just like I don't know. At the end of the day, I just don't get it.
If I could say something real quick.
Go for it, man.
Yeah.
You're the longest fan, so I feel like you should really end things, you know?
So I guess to begin the wrap up, as I've said before, in their first two albums, you could tell that they had like a fire in them to like bring a new perspective on metalcore. They always had something different. Like I keep bringing up The River, I keep bringing up Alive, I keep bringing up Stitch and Deadweight and Johnny Cash. Like, you could tell that they had this mission to write the absolute best thing that they could, and thus it gained them such extreme popularity in the scene right off the bat. Like they were doing Warped Tour like pretty much when they started. Like, this band was going on tours like right when they started.
Yeah.
And a lot of bands hit this plateau where they become cookie cutter, where they pretty much put out the same stuff, like even within the same album. There was actually an album that came out, I think a little over a year ago, called The Path by Fit for a King, that severely disappointed me, just like this album did, but more so. And Fit for a King, like, those dudes are literally kings in the metalcore scene. And for them to drop a turd and the whole metalcore scene like rallies behind it, like, it's like confusing to me. And then now we have Wage War literally doing the same thing, albeit maybe a step above Pressure, is also confusing to me because it's like where is like the depth of all of this? Where is like the creativity? Where is like the drive and the fire that this band had shown in their first 2 records? And then now literally half of their career is not as good as the first half of their career. And it's super disappointing, and I get that people love this album. If you do, fucking sick, rock this shit, enjoy it. But I am not among you.
Don't get complacent.
Yeah,
I think that's my biggest takeaway from what you've said.
Yeah, as the longest tenured Wage War fan, I expected so much more, and here we are. So yeah, Tyler, give him the recap.
Let's get out of here. We're gonna do the recap. We're gonna get out of here. So, how many songs are on this album? 11? I don't have numbers.
Is it 11?
11, yeah.
Cool. All right. So at number 11, If Tomorrow Never Comes. Number 10, Never Say Goodbye. Number 9, Circle the Drain. Number 8, High Horse. Number 7, Slow Burn. Number 6, True Colors. Number 5 is Manic. Number 4, Godspeed. Number 3, Death Roll. Number 2, Relapse. And number 1, Teeth. And this has been the most depressing album review we've ever done. I hated that. I really did.
Yeah, it sucks.
I did not enjoy having to be honest about how much I hated that. But we did it, and it's done. And if the internet tears us apart for this, then
whatever.
Yeah, I feel like
we stuck to our truth, and that is the important thing.
I agree. I do think that negatively critiquing an album was quite interesting to do, because I don't think we've done that. We maybe have negatively critiqued
close
like
with
a
Death
song.
Star. That was the only one that we didn't like a lot of it. But even that was nowhere near the level of this.
Yeah. I think that hopefully, even if you came here to see us shit on and you guys got all angry, whoever's watching about us shitting on Wage War, I hope you're at least interested by some of the way we broke some of the stuff down, because we really did try to be objective about it as much as we could.
Yeah.
We always do. So if you'd like to see us do some more, maybe we talked about a band that you did like, you do like still, and we reviewed them, like Dance Gavin Dance, Bill Murray, we just did the new Idola album. We just did Spirit Box's new album.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, we were pretty hyped about both of them. So
Stand Atlantic, Slaves.
Slaves.
We've done a lot of different stuff.
Raleigh
We're doing
Ritchie,
more
or his name
stuff in the future. Maybe if you want, we can do some old Wage War albums so you can see us
I'm not opposed.
admire them and not rip into
seriously.
them. It could be
Yeah, I kind of want to do Blueprints.
That'd
be down. But if you want to see any of the stuff that we have already recorded, go on and check out the Talk Slot Boys. As we've said, we've done a bunch of album reviews. We do This Month in Music every month, where we just discuss new music coming out. It's a good time. Make sure you subscribe if you enjoyed this and you want to see more. That way, when we release new stuff, you'll know about it right away. And if you actually liked this video, please give it a like, because I have a feeling we're gonna get ratioed to hell, and it's not gonna be fun. So that'd be not just. If you like us in general, maybe give us a like, just so this video doesn't tank. But we're done. We're at the end. This was long and exhausting. We've been the Talk Slot Boys. We will talk a whole lot more next time. See you later.